Okay, let's get the poem out the way. This is my Valentine's poem. You had to do a poem or a song. New, clean, pure, untainted by my thoughts. Expectation, anticipation, trepidation, pause. Take a moment, savour the never to have again moment of surprise. Turn the page, begin. And I've entitled that New Book. I'm not a poet, so there you go. That's my poem. You can all see there was no way I was writing a song, so that's my Valentine's poem. And I will do a Valentine's wrap up, which will be my monthly wrap up, because the books that I was reading tended to be part of that in a little bit's time. But for now, I want to wrap up Contemporaryathon, and I did okay. I don't think I did all the challenges, but I did okay. So let's go through the challenges and whether I ticked them off. The first challenge was to read the most recent contemporary book you had purchased or acquired. For that, I picked up Oh My Gods by Alexandra Shepherd. I was fully expecting to love this book. I liked the idea. We had a half god teenager living in a house of gods. The gods are, as you would expect, you know, they've lived forever, they're living on earth, they want to show their power and be adored, but they're not allowed to. There's like rules and regulations in place, so they're not allowed to be known to be amazing. They're not allowed this fame and popularity which they could have at a snap of a fingertip. She's trying to fit into a new life. She hasn't lived with them before. She was living with her grandmother, and so she's trying to navigate a new school and making new friends and living with these you know, gods, and she hasn't got any sort of powers, and so she feels a bit left out in that. And it's fun and it's sort of sweet and of the moment, but there was no depth there for me personally in terms of connection. I don't know why, I just couldn't connect. So it was an enjoyable read and it was a fast read, but it was just a 3-star read for me. The next challenge is to read a book with blurple on the cover, which is this bluey purple colour, and I picked Are We All Lemmings and Snowflakes by Holly Bourne. I really enjoyed this, but I have to say, out of Holly Bourne's books, this was probably my least favourite that I've read. I liked this idea of exploring mental health. We're following a young girl. She's suffering from something, but we don't know. It's not named. She doesn't know. She doesn't want to know. But we know that she's previously had quite a lot of manic and depressive episodes. So from a reader's point of view, we're thinking maybe, you know, manic depression, something along those lines, bipolar maybe. And so she is... she decides that she is going to take up the doctor's offer of going to try out this new state-of-the-art facility, like in treatment centre, where you go along, and when it's sort of up and running and it isn't in its infancy, it will cost a lot of money, but right now she's getting to do it for free as part of this trial. And she goes along, and it's about the people she meets, it's about exploring her mental health, what she can do to make herself feel better and help her along, and coming to terms with the fact that it's never going to go away, and it's about management and living, and just finding ways to deal with it. And yeah, it was an interesting book. I really enjoyed the majority of it. There was bits that I felt were a bit unrealistic, I suppose, especially this sort of project that they work on in the end, but it was a good read and I enjoyed it, so I ended up giving this one 3 stars. The next up was to read a diverse book, and I just don't feel like I hit this challenge. I suppose this could be diverse for me. I don't suffer from any mental health issues. I could go along this one if we're looking at diversity, so maybe I'll double up with this one. The next one is to read a dark, emotional and hard-hitting contemporary. I don't think this is necessarily dark, but it has a dark element to it, and it is hard-hitting, and that is the Orange series. I read both 1 and 2 for this. Number 2 hit my challenge of reading something in a non-traditional format, because these are manga. This is the full story of this manga, and it's about a young girl. She's at school, and all of a sudden this letter arrives on her doorstep telling her that there's going to be a new boy at school that day, and that he's going to become friends with them. She's going to love him, but he's going to die, and they all mourn him. They're writing this letter from sort of 10 years in the future. They want her to try and save him, and it gives her prompts of what she should try and do in order to make his life better, in order to save him. And so it just follows that. It follows her and her friendship group and this boy, and I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed the ending. I was really impressed with these. I really enjoyed them. It's hard for me to enjoy manga. I don't know why, I just can't get into it. Maybe it's a cultural thing because they are so different to my experience, and often I find the characters annoying and a little bit too saccharine sweet, especially the girls. So I really was pleasantly surprised by these, and I gave them both 4 stars. So again, they hit the sort of dark emotional reads. There was a tear in my eye at some points, and they also hit this non-traditional format. Next is another one that I'm doubling up, and that is to read a book that you meant to read in 2018 that didn't, and also one which has a picture on the side, a bit tentative, but there is here a light with a person standing in it, which is reminiscent of this part of the front. So I'm counting it because that means I hit all the challenges. And that is Holding by Graham Norton. I was gifted this by the lovely Janet of Swirly Girly Reads last year, and she gave it 5 stars. She said I would love it. Just never got round to it because it's set in Ireland, and Ireland is one of my non-buzzwords. We all have buzzwords of books that we like, and for me, World War II specifically, but World War I or II, and Ireland, and horses and boats. Don't know why, they're my non-buzzwords. Maybe I should do a non-buzzword readathon and see how I get on. Oh, no, maybe not. So anyway, I finally picked this one up and I listened to it on audio, and it's read by Graham Norton himself. If you haven't heard of Graham Norton, he is a celebrity. He is a TV presenter now. He has his own sort of talk show. He's Irish. He spoke all the characters really well, and I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this book. It's the story of this small town. You've got like the one policeman who, I think they're called Garda in Ireland, and nothing ever really happens. You know, at the beginning of the book, he sat outside the local cafe with a china cup and saucer that the lady that works in the cafe's brought out for him, and a donut or something. He's this overweight cop, you know, policeman in this small town where there's all sorts of like things going on, as there is in small town life, you know, all these rumours and gossip and things, and histories that all intertwine with each other. And the story really kicks off when this farm is getting renovated, and the builders that are on site find bones, and this just stems into this investigation into who the bones are, and we then follow multiple characters who are involved in this, and follow their storylines past and present. Well, mainly present, but we do hear about the past. It was really good. It wasn't... There was a slight twist which I kind of saw coming but didn't, if you know what I mean. I kind of knew who was going to be involved, and I had a bit of an idea, but it was a nice revelation. It was really well told. The pacing was really good. The characters were really interesting. I liked where everything went in the end and how it wrapped up. So it was just a nice, fun, easy read. It wasn't a 5-star from me, but it was definitely a 4-star, and so, you know, maybe I should consider not ruling out all those books that I have previously been ruling out. Yeah, so wow, would you believe it? I actually completed all the challenges for the Contemporaryathon. Yay me! I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the Contemporaryathon. It's a really great readathon held by some amazing, lovely women, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was great fun, and now I'm thinking about my next readathon. I have discovered though something that's definitely been highlighted for me in this readathon, or in all readathons recently, is that I make these TBRs so that I can make a video to show you what challenges I'm going to try and hit, and then actually I don't enjoy the idea of picking from that TBR. I never want to. So there is a couple of readathons coming up, and what I think I'm going to do now, my shelves are all lovely and beautiful. If you haven't seen my video about that, go and check it out. I am going to go through my shelves, and anything that hits the prompts or meets the prompts, I'm just going to pull out on the shelf so that it's poking out, and leave my bookshelf like that. And then during that week of the read-a-thon, I'm just going to go to my shelves and pick from those books, giving me a little bit more of a open, or I'm just going to pick randomly ones that hit the prompt as and when, so that I can see what I feel like at the time, because I definitely feel like that is when I read the most and enjoy the most, is when I'm mood reading. So that is definitely it for me for mood reading now. I'm definitely just going to allow myself that. Anyway, I've chatted and waffled, but that's it from me. And how did you do in the Contemporaryathon? Did you manage to complete the challenges? Which challenges to complete? Did you get any 5-star reads? I haven't, but I have had one 5-star read recently, so go and check out my video for that. I'm really happy with that. And in fact, that could have been, I read it during the Contemporaryathon, so it could hit one of these prompts. But check out my 5-star review video to find out more about that one. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.